session available to you, and we're going to email it out today. You will get that email from support@backatyou.com. It will also be posted on our YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook page for you to utilize. So this is being recorded. You will get a copy of it. Aloha, Janine, you're up early in Hawaii. You're going to get a recording, and really today is all about how do I go on my website and create custom landing pages or custom pages so that I can really enhance my customer experience and the information on my site. Before we get started on that, how many of you have gone in and customized your website so that your agent website looks the way that you want it to look? You've logged in at least once in the last 6 months, and you know where to find your website. Awesome. So some have, some are still working on it. Some say, no, I haven't. Awesome. The good news is, as you're working on your website, really your website can always be a work in progress, and you can go in and you can really start to dig into individual pieces as you have time. So to begin, we are going to talk about where do you find your website. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. And hello from Michigan. Hello, I'm in North Idaho, so hello from North Idaho to all of you. Yes, everybody is automatically muted in this, Sandy. So as you're looking at your company website, one of the ways that you can find this is if you go to the agent section of your company website, you'll be able to click on a button that says My Website. And so if you click on that website, it's going to bring up that website for you. Now, the other way that you can go about and find your website, if you don't know what it is if you are logged into your Office account. So if I'm logged into my Office account here, then when I click on my name in the upper right-hand corner, I can actually go ahead, I can click on website under my name, and it will take me to my website. And of course, you can always type in your username, your company domain, and it will pull up your website. So there are several ways to find your website. And once you are on your website, you can start editing by scrolling to the very bottom of the screen and clicking on Sites Login. So I believe, Teresa, yep, you're brand new, so no new website yet. You're going to find your website. You can also talk to your office admin about that. They'll be able to direct you. And then you'll put in your username and password. And you know that you're in edit mode for your website when you get a black bar across the top of the screen. So once you see that black bar across the top of the screen, you know that you are in edit mode. As you start in edit mode, where we are going to be spending our time today is in this Pages section. So at the top of your screen, you'll see a Pages section here where you can click and you can add a page. Now, after you create a page, you can edit your menus to attach it to a menu if you would like, or you can have it always just live in that Pages section if you're using it for maybe advertising or sharing a direct link and you don't want people to stumble upon it on your website. So we are going to go through that piece. As I click on this Pages section, I'm going to see all of the pages that I've created. And if you've never created a page, you're going to have a blank screen here that says Start a New Page. You also can start a new page by clicking the plus new page button in the upper right-hand corner. And when you do that, you're going to first select the layout of the page. Now, when you're thinking about landing pages, what makes a page a landing page is the ability to have lead capture built in so that when someone clicks on that page, they have to register before they see the information. So as you're creating landing pages, I want you to think about what kind of things people will register for to get information. The things that I think about are recommending vendors. Everybody's always looking for a recommended vendors list. You know, these are my top 3 lenders. These are my top 3 home inspectors. These are my top 3 plumbers. These are my top 3 contractors. People really like lists. People, if they are in a specific neighborhood, register to get alerts on this neighborhood are always a good thing. And as you scroll through this, you'll see there are standard pages at the top. At the bottom of this page, there are what are called dynamic page templates. And this is the difference between those 2 pages. Both can be made into landing pages. A dynamic page is pulling from somewhere else. So a dynamic page is pulling from the MLS. For the office admin that I have on the line, it might be pulling from your roster. Whereas a standard page, really, once you put the information in, that information lives there forever. So if I choose a standard page first, say I'm going to choose template 6, I just click the radio button next to template 6, and then I click next. When I do that, I'm asked to add the page details. Now, I'm going to add a name, I'm going to add a title. Notice there's some options for metadata and adding it to a menu. You can add this data at any time. You can also edit the title, the description, and the registration at any time. However, once you name your page, you cannot change the name of your page. So the name of your page is what's going to show within that URL. So this page might be my top lender choices. The page is going to be recommended, title is going to be recommended lenders. And I can add a description. Thinking about purchasing a home and don't know where to begin with interviewing a lender, learn about questions to ask as you're selecting your lenders and some of the people that I enjoy working with the most in the Coeur d'Alene area. That can be my description. Now, underneath the registration section, this is where it determines if you are making it a landing page or not. So if I choose yes underneath registration required, that means that when someone comes to this page, before they see the information, they are going to have to register for it. I can then choose the type. Is this a neg? Is this an offer? Or is this forced? If I neg, a neg registration type is like your mom when you were in high school saying, walking past your bedroom, and every third time they walked by your bedroom, they said, hey, you need to pick up your dirty towels or your wet towels off the floor. So every X the visit, so maybe it's every other visit or every third visit, whatever that looks like, you choose, and they're asked. The next type of registration is an offer. That means, hey, the first time they come to this page, they're offered to register, but after that, they are never asked again. They only ask you once, it never happens again. If they exit out and they don't fill that out, then they can see the page. The third type of registration is forced. That means, hey, after they come here once, they are going to be forced to register, and every other time they come here, they have to put in their information. the next stage, are there any questions about how the different types of registration that you can have for your landing page? So no, absolutely. So Naya said, I avoid being forced. What's recommended? Where does the information go to? Give us some example. Which one works best? But you understand what they all mean, correct? Neg, forced, offered. Awesome. So this is how I feel about registration forms. If you are going to make someone register for the information on your page, it better be really good information, one, because if they don't want to register to see that information, they're just going to go somewhere else. Hey, I want to know more information about this camper. Oh, dang it. To see the photos, I have to register and put my information in. I'm just going to go to a different website and look. That is what you want to avoid. I personally recommend the neg. I love nagging people. Hey, they're prompted to fill it out every other time. If they fill it out, I get their information. If they don't fill it out, they still stay on my page. I'm not pushing them somewhere else. I also, as we're talking about this, want to talk about some other things that are on your page. So if they are on looking at a listing, there is a lot of registration that is built into your page already. So if I'm looking at this house, I'm sorry, I'm filtered by commercial properties here. If I'm looking at a home and I want more information about Chester Way, I can fill out a contact form. I can fill out a showing request form. I can email it, text it, and those have contact forms. So there are contact forms that are already created for you within a listing that capture information. This is just saying, hey, if you want this information, you have to register. Terry, but do they get the information you are offering without registering with a neg? Yes, Terry, they do. And the next question is, for those nagging pages, when you're setting this registration, is this for just this page you're creating? Or is this for your whole website? When you're setting this registration, you are only setting it for this page. Yep. So some examples of when you would use forced are, if you have, when I like to use forced registrations, because there is a time and a place where forced registration is appropriate. And when I like to use them is when I have something like a download. So I have a PDF that I've created that is what I deem as really valuable information that people use further down in their process. Things like interview questions. When you're looking for an agent, what interview questions should you ask? Please register so I can email you that. That's when I find that it is great for things like lender recommendations, home updating tips, browsing listings. I don't like to force people because I want to keep people on my site. I don't want them to go to Zillow. So the next question that was asked is, where does that registration information go to? Carrie, we're getting there. Any questions about neg, forced, or offer? Before we go to how do I choose what information is coming in and how that works? Okay. information go? How do I choose where it goes? So that is listed underneath this lead source. So this lead source, and by selecting this lead source, this is how you're choosing what and how it comes into the system. Everybody's lead sources are going to look a little bit different. These are created by your company. What I recommend choosing is an open house sign-in for that lead source. The reason for that is the rules for open house sign-in say they go to the agent whose page you're on. And so this means, hey, the lead's going to come in. It's going to come to me as the agent, and it's going to go into my CRM in my back office. So it's going to come into my customer relations and my leads tab. Carrie, does that answer your question? So that lead source chooses when I come in, and they all filter into your office CRM. Awesome. Shelly has a question. Why do I have 2 pages on mine? Shelly, I think where you're talking about is when you go into this page manager, you have 2 pages listed here. Shelly, is this where you have them? Yep. And underneath global page, does it say yes? Awesome. So let's talk about that. So you can see here, there is an Our Company page, and underneath global page, it says yes. What that is your company can create pages. So I saw Jen on the call a little bit earlier. I know we've got some other managers on the call. So for agents, if you can hang tight through this and pay attention, because then you'll know how they're created. The company can create pages that they can share with you. So things like community events that they're doing or information. So when you log in here and you as a company have this, when you add a new page, I'm just going to select one here. You have an option for global pages that says, hey, do you want to make this page available for everybody? Yes or no? When you do that and create your page, it shows in your agent page like this. So maybe you have a pet adoption page. There's a Bark in the Park event. If I, as an agent, go and edit that page, it says, by editing this page, it will no longer be updated when the company makes modifications, so that you as an agent have a starting place of, I love this page they created, but I want to go in and I want to edit some of this information. I like what they did, but I want to add, information about my dog and my adoption story. So it just creates a copy for you. Does that answer your question, Shelly? I think it's in the car, hun. Awesome. Yeah, no problem. So, great. For the admins on the call, do you have any questions? So to make a page available for everyone, you're just choosing make this page available to all. That's all that you're doing to make that available for everyone. Awesome. So Terry asked a really good question and said, can I change that lead source from open house sign-in to say, yes, I want the download? All of the lead sources are controlled by your office. So if you want to have an additional lead source added here, you need to talk to your manager and they can help you with that. Does that answer your question, Terry? So setting up a separate lead source that if you wanted to name it something different, you would go to your manager and say, hey, I need a lead source, and these are the requirements that I want on it. Yep, those are all customizable at the office level. Great questions today, this morning, everybody. All right, so now we've named our page, we've made it registration required, so it's a landing page. We are going to skip metadata today. And we're right now, because we have not created the page yet, I'm going to say no, I don't want to add this to a page at this time because I'm still working on my page. Once I click OK, that page is going to be generated. So yeah, so Diane, when you have a page and it's a landing page and there's a lead that comes in from that, you're going to get a notification based on the settings you have in your office. Those leads all populate here underneath contacts and leads. And depending what you have set up in your preferences for lead notifications is how you get that notification. Great question. So as now I have my page, I can go in, I can start to edit it. Again, I can edit that name, that title. So if I want to call this Getting a Mortgage, I can do that. I click OK. Again, as I'm making changes, I'm not forgetting to click that save button in the upper right hand corner. And as you scroll down, you can say, hey, here's an image. You can upload your own image. You can access company images. You also can utilize stock images. So if I said, hey, I want to utilize maybe this image, and it will enter in. I can change the text. This is the difference in a pre-approval versus a pre-qualification. These are the questions you should be asking your lenders. These are the different types of people you may be speaking to for lending. You know, are you talking to a credit union? Are you talking to a traditional bank? Are you talking to a mortgage company? What are the differences? There's a lot of information as you're thinking about what to put on your pages that in the industry we all innately know, but we don't do a good job communicating, and we forget what it was like to not know the information. So I can change my text in here. I can type, hey, this is my information. I can insert photos, so I can upload other photos, or again, I can access and put some informational photos in. There's also, as you hover over these things, there's some information here for like labels and bootstrap information. There's also a back at you icon. So if you want to just have a lead form on your page, you don't want to force people to register before they see it, but I want to have a lead form here, I can say, okay, I want a lead form here. And I want to call it download the form or whatever that is. And I click OK, and then it's there. So this is the stage where you're entering in all of your information. Any questions there on that piece? How do I edit image? How do I edit text? Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is how do people find this page? So right now, this page only exists at this URL link that I just dropped in the chat box. So if you don't have this direct link, you're not getting to this page. So if you want to use the page for advertising or in an email blast, and you don't want people to be able to navigate to that page on your main website, that's no problem. Rogue, no. You can just go ahead. You can actually up here, as you're looking for that URL, you can mark it as a favorite. So I'm just going to refresh my page here. I can click the star next to this, and I could add this as a bookmark bar, and maybe I have a folder that is a lead landing pages so that I can quickly and easily access them. That is option number one. If you do, though, want to build this into your page and you want it to link to a menu, that is absolutely something else that you can do. And to do that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on this menus button at the top of the page. So when I click on menus, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click plus new menu. I can add it there, or I can go to menus and I can say, hey, I want this to be a part of my main site menu. I'm going to edit it, and I actually want this to be underneath my read more section. I'm going to add a custom page. I'm going to add my lender recommendations. I'm going to call this Finding a Lender. And I want it to go in my read more. Once I do that, I click save, I refresh my page, and I can then see here it is as a drop down underneath read more. Again, to get there, we went into menus, site menu, we found our custom page, we named it, and then we chose where we wanted it to live. Any questions on how to attach that page to a menu so that you can find it later? Great question, Amy. So Amy said, hey, what if I want to have them click on read more here and have it go to that page? Can I do that? You absolutely can. All of your menu items are clickable unless they have submenus. So if I want to edit this read more, I can say, okay, this is a section header. I'm actually going to delete it all the way out. Yep. And I'm going to say, okay, custom pages. I want to do this, my lender recommendations. I want this to say read more. And I want it to be a top menu item. Save. Now when I'm on my home page, and I'm just going to go to my home screen so you can see it real quick. I'm on my home screen. I click to edit my menu. I click read more, and it takes me to this page. Does that answer your question, Amy? Awesome. Can I install the landing page on a Facebook advertisement is the next question. Also a very good question. So when you're within your Facebook business page and you're on your real estate page and maybe you're starting an ad. So I'm in my page and I'm going to go in and I want to create an ad. I want to promote, or I want to visit my ad center and I want to create a page. You absolutely can do that. And you would just paste that link. So when we were talking about using this, when you're creating that page with where do you want the traffic to go, you would put in this URL. Does that answer your question, Diane? Awesome. Other questions on that portion of it? So Terry, you can go in and you can edit the images. You have to go into your ads manager though. When you go into your ads manager, like you have to say, okay, I want to get more website visitors. And then right here where there's that image, you can edit this image. Call to action is learn more. Here's how I'm targeting. And it works way better if you actually go in and you go into the full editor of, hey, I'm going to go into like my business manager section. So if I go into like my actual advertising center, this is where you can actually dive way deeper into your advertising and create it from this screen. Great question. Okay, yeah, perfect. What about creating pages that have listings? So the page we just created is a static page, and the information on this page, pardon me, stays the same no matter what. So once I put in my information on this page, it stays the same no matter what. But what if I want to create a page that is specific to a community and it's pulling listings on that community and talking about living there? That's when you would use the listing or the areas templates. So if I choose area template 1 and click next, I can actually go in and I might say something like whatever the community name is. Maybe it is Ponderosa Heights. And the page title is the same. I want it to be registration, yes. I'm going to offer it the first time they visit, and I choose my lead source, and I click OK. So now how do I edit this? So I'm going to edit this page. I'm going to add my image here at the top. There's also some cool features on these listings page. So there's an optional areas map. So I could actually say, hey, do I want to show this center the map? Yes. And I can actually scroll in and I could center the map on that neighborhood. So I would say, hey, you have to drag the pin. You could say, hey, I want it to be in this particular, I want this to be where that shows. It will show my map on my page. I could write some information. So I could say, hey, this is a, well-established neighborhood, large ponderosa trees, walking distance from a par 3 golf course, la, la, la. All that information. So this is a great way to create a page for maybe an area you're farming. And then I'm going to click OK. Something to note is that anything that says optional, once I'm done editing my page, will not show to my consumer. anything that says suggested is going to show, this is just letting you know what image size to put in there. Again, you can upload your own images or you can use stock images. Going through, making sure that you have all of your information in. And you can then go ahead and I could add a YouTube video. So if you have a YouTube link, you would put that in. You can put a blog link in. You can put a Yelp review in. Do you want to show Yelp? Yes or no? I'd like to show local services, entertainment, restaurants, shopping, home decor, and maybe health and medical. Again, I can scroll out and I can drag the map to where I need it centered. And it's going to show all of that information right on my page. This gauge is being populated by Yelp. So as we talked about, hey, we want to keep people on your page. This is preventing them from going to a different page. And then I can edit the listing. So once I see that I've got little boxes with data, I'm going to click edit. And this is where I'm going to put in the information. So as I start typing in a neighborhood name, it is going to populate here. Then I can say, hey, I want to show only residential. I want to order them by price, high to low, how many days new to the market, reduced, golf course, waterfront, whatever that is. I click OK, and it's automatically going to populate from my MLS, as are all of the statistics. At the bottom, there's an area. Hey, if I want to put in maybe some recently sold homes or something like that, I can do that. If I want to hide these, no big deal. I can hide these as well. So Rob, when you put in those listings, it is only showing, this is going to populate a list from MLS. So if it's an area or a zip code or a community, it's pulling from MLS. Yes, that's the answer. And it will only show listings that are in the MLS. Great question. Other questions? Shelly, it depends on the template and the areas template. Yes, you can. In the listings template, you can only choose one. So yes and no. But yes, you can do more than one area in the areas template. You can do more than one city. Yeah, sure. So Rob, if there's some homes that have sold, at the bottom of this page, there's a section. So I could say recently sold or sold homes. Do I want to show this panel? Yes. Title, sold March 2019 or 2020. I could upload a photo of that home. I'm going to use a stock image so I don't have to find an exterior photo on my computer. You could also have it link. So if you wanted this to link and have it go to like a home value lead source, so if someone wanted more information. Great question, Terry. I'm going to come back to that. Are there any other questions on this, how to do this dynamic page? Any questions there? Terry, are you? No, I'm not on this template. No, it can't. Not every MLS exports sold, Rob. So I would need a little bit more information about your community specifically and what our MLS feed looks like and that side of it to answer that intelligently. Yep, no problem. So Terry asked, can you do a specific listing? Like, can I create a page for a specific listing? Terry, are you the listing agent? Are you wanting to do this for your listings? Awesome. So let's talk about that. In your office, let me just switch this real quick. In your office here, if you are the listing agent, you have a ton of tools underneath that listings tab that automatically happen for you. So you do not have to create a page for your listings. They are created for you. There's a details page created. There's also a showcase page created. On that showcase page, you're going to be able to showcase and see all the images. Let me pick, this is a demo site, so my images sometimes are slow to load. You'll see all the images. You'll also have that sticky contact form on that listing page with your information, features, and all of that is already built for you. So you do not have to build this. It is built for you. Again, to get there, I was in Office. I clicked on the Actions tab next to my listing, and I clicked on the Showcase. You're very welcome. Heather, when you go to listings, it says no properties found. Are you in your website or your office when you do that? So you're here underneath listings. Awesome. Do you have any listings for yourself? Do you have any active listings? Okay, talk to your office manager. Yep, no problem. They likely just have to click a couple buttons to get those attached. So we are right at that 45-minute mark. I want to make sure that I'm being respectful of your guys' time. Are there any questions about where you go to add a page or connect it to a menu? Any information about those listing landing pages that are automatically generated for you? Is there a list of the types of lead registration I can provide to my agents? You mean, Rob, like a description of what each of those mean? I don't know. Let me find out. If there was, it would be in the knowledge base. Let's see. Okay. There may not be, and I can find out. So let me find out, and we can write one up, Rob, and it will live in that knowledge base. Yeah, no problem. Yep, so when I created that page, where that is pulling that from is this lead source. So if I choose something else, that's what's going to happen there. And if you want a different lead source than is what is offered in this box, you need to talk to your office manager. So that's what shows on that form. Shelly, does that answer your question? Yep, no problem. Layla, I need to get more information from you to answer that question. Yeah, no problem. Alrighty, if there are no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for the day. Again, this will be posted on our YouTube channel. It will be also posted on our Facebook page. If you don't know where to go and find us on YouTube, if you type in Back at You Office, that is our page. I'm going to drop that link into the chat box now so you have it. You can always use this search bar within YouTube. So if I want to know more about landing pages, I can do that. You can see additional information available there. We also have a fabulous Facebook community that we would love to have you be a part of. And if you're not a member of our page, please consider joining us. This is a great place to ask questions, learn about upcoming announcements and trainings. There's a lot that we do here, and we would love to have you join us on this page as well. We do our best also to answer people in video form. So Heather, I see you asked a question this morning, and I actually will be answering you here shortly. So hang tight, but you will get a video answer of that. And the last thing I want to let you know about is our page for upcoming training. So if you go to showtime.backatyou.com, this is where you can see a link of or a list of all of our upcoming trainings. So today is the Create Custom Landing Pages. Next Monday, we'll be doing Office Buyer Tools. And the week after that, we'll be doing Office Seller Tools. So we are very excited. I will be getting additional training sessions up shortly for the rest of the month of May. But this is where you can always go and get updated training. Again, you are going to get an email from support@backatyou.com with a list of the recording as well as upcoming trainings. And we will go from there. If there are no other questions, I want to wish all of you a very happy Monday, and I will talk to you next week.